Jill Cress joins us here at halftime. I want to talk to you about a couple of different things we don't have a lot of time to reflect on during the year, so I thought this would be a nice time. 18 years now at Jewell. I've been around for 8. It must have just flown by for you at this point.
It really has. It's been such a great place, and you know, when I first moved here, I had my undergrad in elementary education, didn't know what I wanted to do, and knew Jewell had a good basketball program, and I moved down here with my sister who got a job at Children's Mercy, and I just called up Deb Carrier, who was the coach at that time at Jewell, and asked her if I could volunteer, and I fell in love with William Jewell and the people and the players that the school attracts. And so when Deb left, I was at Ottawa then. I left when was an interim coach there for a semester, and when Deb left, she recommended me to the AD, who was Coach Hamilton, and I was 25, so I know you can do the calculation on how old I am now, but 25, and Coach Hamilton took a chance on me to be the head coach, and it's been just a great place, great experience.
How are you different now, 18 years later, than you were coaching when you first took over?
Yeah, I think as a whole, I mean, I'm extremely competitive. I want to win. I think I enjoy some of the littler things more than what I did. Seeing the players go after college and watching their families and keeping connected with that. You know, you don't think about that when you first get into it. You think about your wins and losses and those kind of things. And I still think about that, but the thing that I enjoy the most is watching kids come in, watching them go through their 4 years, watching how scared they are and not sure of themselves, and by the time they're a senior, their confidence and going out and getting jobs and starting families. And I just that's my favorite part about coaching.
But are you different? I mean, you talk about being competitive. Were you more demonstrative earlier on?
Yeah,
have you mellowed?
I have mellowed, which I don't know if these guys will believe me. And some of my older players will come back, and they're like, even on the bench, they make fun of me because they're just like, you're mellow. And I think some of it has been having kids of my own.
Yeah.
Has been I'm really big on thinking about how I talk and how I treat my players. Is how I'd want my kids treated, and I know sometimes my players feel bad for my own kids because they're thinking, wow, but that really is, I think that's probably changed me the most, is just how I look at them more as my kids,
Sure.
And I want to treat them that way.
I'm sure I've told you this before, but Jim Redd, the former athletic director, said that you are one of the best kept secrets at William Jewell College, and that was, I guess, 8 years ago or whatever. How do you manage the family thing and the basketball thing and all of that?
That's been one thing. William Jewell's been so good to me, and with Coach Hamilton and Dr. Redd as my athletic directors, and Dr. Bailey. And Dr. Salih, the president, they've all been very family-oriented. They understand if I need to take off. They've also, each one of my kids got to come to work with me that first year, and it's never been an issue. They've never asked me not to or question that, and that's been a big thing for me. They've let me be a mom too. I think if I listen to some of the other coaches in other places that they don't get that, and I'm very blessed in that area. I think probably had Jewell not been like that, I wouldn't have been able to stay here, because it is tough. I called my daughter this morning, my youngest. She had a basketball game. They lost 2-23, and she's trying to tell me about it. My oldest daughter has a game here at 1 o'clock, and my 2 boys have games this afternoon. And so you miss a lot, but again, Jewell's been great with me taking time when my kids do have something and it works out that I'm home to go do that first. And so it's just been really good. And Coach Holly's my best friend, and I think that's, I've looked at other places sometimes, and I listen to how those coaches don't get along and they don't work with their programs well together, and that's been a big thing for me. To be able to work with him, and have that friendship, and our teams. You look at our teams. It was funny. We were home, and my players were calling the men's team to see if they wanted to go out to eat together, and I'm like, "Don't you guys get tired of each other after being on trips?" And they're like, they're all really good friends, and it's really a neat support system, and I don't think you get that in a lot of places. And I tell Coach Holly, because everybody asks when he's going to retire, and I tell everybody and tell him he's not retiring until I do, so he's got another 20 years there. But it's just a great place. I've been very blessed. I've been very blessed with the people that I work with, and very blessed that they've let me be a mom and a coach.
Jill Cress is our guest here at halftime, and I know you don't like to talk about this, but I'm going to hope that you do. But this fall, you were inducted into the Jewell Hall of Fame. What did that mean to you?
It was really special to me. It was very humbling because I kind of talked about that when I got up to speak, and I'm very sincere on that. It's not, I get the picture up and all that, but really, I've had great assistant coaches, I've had great players, and it's been so much fun for me. And again, I talked about my kids. Jewell's let me be a mom too. There's so many people that go into like an award like that, and it's neat for me because Jewell's so special to me. But I hope when people see the plaque, it's just hard, to do that. But to see that it's all those 18 teams, all my assistant coaches that I've had, my kids that have been, it's a sacrifice for my kids too.
Sure.
They'd love to have me at their games and be home with them in the morning. Sometimes, Rylan sometimes has a hard time, my youngest, but there's a lot of people that go into that.
Yeah. Have players changed in your 18 years?
They have a little bit, and not necessarily bad. You have to coach them a little differently. I think sometimes they don't know where you came from, and especially now that we're at Division II, you see how so many things that some of those Division II kids get, and I think sometimes you expect some things, and so I'm constantly reminding them to be thankful, and they are. They're a great group, but I think sometimes kids expect things. I think my kids expect things more than maybe in the past where they weren't given. And we were at the NAI level, and we had to do a lot of fundraising. We still do, but actually I think fundraising is good to a certain extent. I think you have to work for some things that you want. But, they're fun. They're always changing. And it's always, even when you have everybody back, it's still different dynamics. And they're a year older and things. And, I love coaching. It's been a great fit for me, and it's probably, it's not about the wins and losses. It's just about the relationships, and again, I like the wins, but it's just more than that.
100 things I want to talk to you about, but our time is short. So I wanted you to tell the story a little bit, talking about assistant coaches. This next week, you're planning to go up to Iowa to see two of your former assistants. Your high school coach and one of the assistants that's worked for you, Chad Thomason, is playing Shep in a high school game. You're driving 6 hours each way to see this game. Yeah, that says a lot about you. Tell me about those two guys.
They're both so special in my life, and I wouldn't be coaching if it wasn't for Shep, my high school coach.
Harold Shepard.
Harold Shepard, yeah. There are a lot of people, you either really liked him or you didn't. There were kids that wouldn't play for him. I remember when I was 8 or 9, my oldest sister was playing, was on the team. She didn't get to play a lot, but she was on the team. And I just remember watching him coach, and he was fiery, and I thought to myself, I can't wait to play for that guy.
That's neat.
And it was just a great experience. I fell in love with basketball. I learned to expect to win, to love the underdog. And then for my highlight in coaching has been his 2 years that he coached with me. It was so much fun, and he's just a great person. He went back home and has really turned their high school program around. He's at West Delaware. They've never had a winning program, and he's now ranked 13th in the state. Wow. In 4 years. And then Chad Thomason, who's one of my closest friends. I always got called his mom, and he kind of looked at me as a second mom, which I don't tell a lot of people that. I guess I did, but he's really special, and he was really special with Shep. Those two coached together. Shep helped him get that job, and Shep's been coaching now for 50 years. And there's talk that maybe next year might be his last year, but for me, I just I haven't had the opportunity to go watch them coach against each other, or either one of them just coach themselves for a long time, and so I'm really excited about it. I know that's a tough game for them to play because they both care about each other so much, but it'll be pretty special for me because they've had such an impact on me as a person and me as a coach.
That's Jill Cress joining us at halftime here of the Lewis Jewell game, and we'll be back with more in a moment.